Hello folks, Jack here from Peach Guitars. Hope you're having a great day. This is going to get even better as we get into today's video because we've got another unboxing. Rather than being from one particular shipment, this is actually kind of an amalgamation of about 2 or 3 different Fender deliveries that we've had this week. So it's a little bit of a smattering of all things, but the reason we've waited is because we knew there was some really special stuff coming this week, so we didn't want to just kind of give you one small unboxing and then have 2 or 3 extra ones. This is one pretty substantial one. There's about 20-something guitars. I've actually had the chance to play most of these now, and I can tell you there's some real peaches in there. So I've got no particular order here, but I'm just going to kind of delve in, give you a little bit of a cross-reference for each guitar. There's going to be loads of different models, some master-built, some team-built. We're just going to start in one place, end up in another. And luckily, Aidan, our main man, is on hand to help out with the specs. If I get really stuck, which I will do, he will know what's what. Okay, first guitar. Funnily enough, I think this might be my favourite of the bunch. Not just so far, I mean of the ones I've actually played. Really nice telly, just compared to a lot of the stuff we've been seeing from the custom shop lately, which has been very kind of intense finishes, I would say. Lots of relics, lots of finish over finish and stuff. This was just so refreshing to take this out of the case, and it's just like a bone stock. It is, I'm going to say it's a journeyman. Would you agree? Journeyman relic, Dakota red, I think, probably a early 60s telly of some degree. Limited edition guitar, so there's a few of these that are kind of, I guess, one-off specs in very limited numbers that just stand out a little bit from regular, just standard year reissue models or something like that. Really nice dark rosewood board and a really comfortable worn-in neck. So I said it's a journeyman, maybe it's even a little bit of a sort of slightly heavier aging to it, I'm not sure. But it's just dead simple and I love it. It's a really resonant guitar as well, I remember thinking that. So 61? 59. Oh, 59. Not even early 60s. 59. I'm so glad that you're here. 59 telly, Dakota red. I'm going to say that's a winner for... I know this is the first guitar, but it's certainly a winner for me. Very nice indeed. Okay, so like I said, this is going to be a bit of a weird mix going on. Thank you, Aidan.
No worries.
There's literally all sorts in no particular order, so this next guitar is likely to be something totally different. Let's see. Yeah. Not too far away. Still a red telly, but this time, like I said, we've got one of the more slightly intense finishes of, I guess that's Fiesta over 3-tone. Bit of a heavier relic going on. It's another one of the limited edition guitars. But yeah, some heavier aging on the back. You can see that nice, the sunburst poking through. And these always feel really good. I don't know how they do it exactly, but it doesn't feel super rough. It just feels kind of fairly naturally worn in on these parts where you see the bare wood underneath. Quite a light telly as well. And obviously it's got the wide range humbucking pickup in the neck, which you don't often see this particular combination. You usually see telly customs with humbucker in the neck, but not always a wide range, and it does sound pretty fat, this guitar. Coupled with a traditional telly single coil as well. Once again, it's actually quite a similar feel to that last guitar, so I'm guessing this is I'm going to guess it's a 60. Aidan, you probably know better than I do.
No age on that one, just a limited Kuna fade.
Okay, so yeah, just pretty much a all-round 60s style telly profile. Quite a slim neck, actually, maybe a little bit slimmer than that last one. More like a mid-60s kind of feel, but really good. And quite unique as well. It's nice to see humbuckers on tellies. Right, thank you. Okay, well, I've got another brown case, so I'm going to take a fairly reliable punt on this being a 60s guitar, but I've been proven wrong already. Let's see what we got. Oh, that's lovely. 59? Maybe it's a 59, maybe it's not even a 60s. I've got to stop, I'm just going to stop guessing now. You can tell me in the comments how correct I am. What I do know about this is that this is a superb Strat because it's a hardtail. Don't often see these at all. I think very recently there was a 50s hardtail Strat with a maple board and whatnot, and I didn't even get to see that guitar because it sold pretty much as soon as it came in. This one I did get to see, I did get to play. Hardtail Strats do a totally different thing to a regular Strat. I guess, just simply by not having the cutout in the back and the springs, and the trem block and whatnot, this hardtail just seems so resonant, and it plays differently. Plays like basically a telly with a Strat wiring configuration, and I love that. I really hope we get to see more of these, but all the while we don't, if you're interested in the hardtail Strat, be very, very quick, because I don't think this is going to stick around for long at all. Really nice sonic blue, by the way, with that superb mint aged guard. Just looks the absolute business, and I think being a hardtail just sort of pushes it over the edge for me. I really like it. Okay. Nice. All right, the cream case. Now, this is going to be a mystery for me. I can't tell you what's inside, so I'm just going to have to open it. Very, very nice. Another limited edition Strat. Something going on with the red guitars here for these limited editions. I'm not sure what exactly. Candy apple red, sort of 60s. Well, this is a bit of an interesting one. I don't think, as Aidan just said, these don't really pertain to specific year of reissues. They just kind of, you know, chuck a bunch of different Fender ideas from the past, from different years, into one guitar kind of profile. Candy apple red is obviously a fairly 60s thing. You've got the kind of mid to late 60s headstock, roasted maple neck, and it's satinized on the bulk of the neck, but you've still got the nice gloss effect on the headstock. Really nice. And I guess it's another sort of journeyman. They used to do this kind of thing with the Postmodern collection, which I don't think we see that much of anymore, but really nice, just kind of fairly subtle relic with a little bit of arm wear and whatnot. Great spec, a really good sounding guitar as well. I can't remember what, do you know what pickups are in there offhand?
Hand-wound 64.
Hand-wound 64. So yeah, that with the headstock is kind of a little bit more of that mid-rangey, really sweet sounding Strat tones, but a little bit of a different spin with the roasted maple. Okay, thank you, Aidan. I appreciate all the answers, by the way. I'm totally lost in spec world here because nothing is as it seems.
Floor runner as well.
Yes, yeah. Okay, now this is one that really stood out to me. Another limited edition guitar. Again, what to make of it? It's basically a 50s style telly, isn't it? Like a 54, 55. It's not a huge neck like a 52, but this body is just sensational. It's like a really kind of really thin finish. Once again, I'm going to guess it's like a journeyman finish with a fairly typical blonde telly. It kind of gave me Robin Ford telly kind of vibes when I first saw this guitar, but with the roasted maple neck and fingerboard, obviously. Really polished up fingerboard and nice worn in back of the neck, feels great. So it's just a dead simple guitar, but I like when they do these slightly different off the wall things. It just shows that Fender's got such a wealth of materials to play with and kind of different spec ideas from their history that when they do concoct new ideas like this, it often is going to work pretty well, especially when it's based on a telly platform. So yeah, I do like that. I like the simple stuff. There we go. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. I ran out of words. Ooh, okay. Very, very nice. Gold top. We're into gold top territory for a Fender. This is different. I wonder if that's what they kind of went for, you know, kind of borrowing some ideas from another brand with the kind of, I'm not sure, this isn't a mahogany body, is it, Aidan? Yes. It is, yeah. Maybe I should be more confident in my guesses sometimes. Mahogany body, gold top with really nice, once again, roasted maple neck, rosewood board. This is a fat sounding guitar, and I think, if memory serves, this is actually wide out of phase in the middle position. So you can get some really cool, totally different tones from this guitar. P90 in the neck, reversed slanted telly, bridge single coil. I do remember this guitar being particularly good, just really fat sounding. P90s in tellies and humbuckers in tellies always work. Just any pickup combination in a Telecaster always seems to work well. Quite a chunky neck. I don't know exactly what that profile is. Do you happen to know, Aidan?
Large C.
Large C. God, I'm hopeless at specs, but I can tell you that this does sound very, very good. It's got a really fat tone. Again, not sure exactly what telly bridge that we've got in there, but it is a flat pole piece pickup, so it's a little bit of a punchier sound. Very, very nice. And it's actually quite a figured neck. I don't know if you'll get that on the camera, but really nice piece of maple for the neck. One interesting thing, a gold top Telecaster. Okay. Right, got a couple of brown cases here, so I'm guessing we're going early 60s again, but I've been wrong before. There we go. This is going to appeal to the classic guitar enthusiasts. Another limited edition Strat, but fairly straightforward with the specs. Just a really nice, quite a dark, I guess it's a Fiesta, or maybe a coral red. Nicely mint aged pickguard. Quite a dark, not roasted, but just regular maple neck, but it's quite dark. Nicely lacquered up, and a nice dark rosewood board again. So I guess these limited edition guitars are kind of just, what's the deal with them exactly? Do you know? Are they just kind of like flavour of the month kind of spec?
Combining vintage specs into a new model.
Yeah, so it's just, like I said, a bit of a hodgepodge of all different specs, but just turns out to be a really, really good kind of player-friendly spec. I like that these have all so far had the Journeyman relic, which is by far my favourite finishing option from the Custom Shop. It's just the best balance of all things. It feels great and it plays great and it looks great without being too overblown if you're not into the heavy relic thing, and you're also not afraid to sort of lay into these a bit more than you are with NOS guitars and whatnot. They're great as well, but you just feel a bit more confident, at least I do, having not paid for any of these guitars to play them, in actually digging in a bit. Very, very nice. This case feels pretty light, so I'm guessing it's a light guitar inside. Special one. So I did say this is going to be a bit of a mix of all things. All the guitars you've seen so far have been team-built guitars, the limited edition ones. This is now down to the hands of one man, one master, Dale Wilson. You know what it's like whenever we get these guitars. It's always special, and they just always seem to have that wow factor when they come out the case. I'm yet to actually play this one, but I just know it's going to be great. So faded Daphne blue, I think this is. Really faded Daphne blue. It's almost got a surf green kind of tinge to it. Over 3-tone, and I really like that you can see the actual original Daphne blue kind of primer kind of colour under there. But just a really cool looking guitar, and the Dales always just feel sensational on the neck. Really worn in, really smooth fret edges, super dark, sort of caramelised looking headstock. And they're just always absolutely resonant masterpieces, these guitars. Really looking forward to playing this. I think this is maybe a 60. 61, I'm getting closer. 61 Dale Wilson Strat. I know that this is going to have sold by the time you even see this video, so I don't need to talk too much about the spec, but it's a special one. I hope I get to play it. Right. Not a bad bunch. Let's get some more. All right, let's crack on with some more. Just like that, another Dale appears. This one already has been seen by the internet, and I think within about 30 minutes of this being posted on Instagram alone, about 6 or 7 different people messaged in and said, can I buy it? Strangely enough, it's still here at the moment, but I'm sure by the time you see this video, it will not be. So this is a little bit of a more interesting take from Dale, because I don't think really any spec was given to him, at least not with the colour anyway, with the finish. John just said, do what you do best and pick what you think is right for the guitar. So it's a nice heavy relic with way more of the finish being taken out here in the kind of the picking zone, which I do like that because it always feels good when your hand naturally catches it when you're playing. It just feels nice and smooth. This colour, I don't think even has a name, unless you know otherwise. No, hasn't been dubbed yet, so let us know in the comments what you think maybe this colour could be called. I'd like to see more guitars in this though, whatever it is. Once again, it's over a 3-tone. So you've got a bit more depth to the finish that way. Slightly slimmer feeling neck than that last one. Although I think another 61.
Neck.
The model. 60s, just generic 60s. Feels a little bit skinnier than that last, specifically 61 guitar. Super dark. I'm hesitant to even call that rosewood because it's so dark, but I believe that is a rosewood board. Really nice dark maple neck. The business. And I think it's an EVH humbucking pickup in there.
Yep.
Other two single coils, do you happen to know?
Diablos.
El Diablos. Just a solid combo, really. The thing about Dale's guitars is that they kind of always just have this nicely, it's like when you put a really nice compressor on a recorded track or something, and it just smooths off all the edges, rounds everything out and gives you more sustain and fullness at the same time. That's what these guitars sound like, just plugged straight into an amp. It's hard to kind of give any other explanation than that. They just sound like the finished product, the real deal. They make your playing sound halfway decent, which for me is a big plus because I need every little bit of help I can get sometimes. Super guitar. And like I say, that's going to be very popular. That may not be on the website by the time you see this, but if you do end up with that, you're going to be very lucky. Okay, thank you. Right, let's see what else we've got. It's not just Dale's. I believe there's a few other master builders that have got their products onto this particular shipment, including this one. So this is a Dennis Galuszka. This is from the dealer event that we recently were a part of, and we actually managed to secure more guitars than I believe any other dealer from this particular event. They've just shown up. Like I said, this is why we were waiting till today so we could get everything in on one, because it's been a really good week for Fender Custom Shop. So really just an interesting spec once again here. I think this is kind of where the dealers just go a little bit nuts and they do whatever they want. But this is kind of, it's quite a hefty neck. I'm hesitant to say that it's an exact 50s profile or anything like that. It's just super comfortable. It's quite chunky, but with that really kind of pure, very light maple. Got a very different feel to these necks as well. They feel, I guess, a little bit more, they just don't have that whole worn in, broken in vintage feel. They feel kind of a little bit more pristine. And when you play them, it makes you think a little bit more delicately, for lack of a better term. I just really like the way these guitars respond. And once again, we're seeing a traditional this time style humbucker in the neck, telly bridge single coil with a Bixby style tailpiece. And bodywood, do you happen to know? Ash body, yeah, because it does feel quite lightweight, although obviously that adds a little bit of heft. But I love the grain that you can see through it. So just a really stunning piece. I don't think we've ever seen anything quite like this before, with like pristine gold hardware. So it's finally one for the NOS fans, and it's a really special piece because it's a master built guitar as well. So that's very nice indeed. The tellies with the humbuckers in, always, they just have a lot of versatility to them. They can get so many different sounds out of them. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Now this is my kind of telly. Custom Telecaster, so 59, 60, that kind of age. That's all I'm going to say. 59 or 60. Quite a slim profile. Once again, really nicely worn in. Is this another one of those dealer event guitars? Do you know?
Not that one. No.
Not this one. Okay, but just a little bit of a heavier relic vibe on the sort of the custom Telecaster platform with a double binding. 62, beg your pardon. Only a couple of years off once again. Pickups are voiced a little bit more kind of, they're not quite as hot as the 50s tellies tend to be. So they have a little bit more clarity and sparkle to them, and I think these make for great rhythmic sounding tellies. They don't necessarily have all that early 50s spank and punch. These are a little bit more refined, and I personally really like that. Once again, really nice dark rosewood board. Quite a dark glossy maple neck, but with that nice worn in patch where you're actually going to be putting your fingers. Just a superb custom Telecaster. I can never remember if these are Tele-Customs or Custom Telecaster, but it's a Custom Shop Custom Telecaster of some degree. That's all I know. And that's a particularly nice one. Okay. Thanks. All right, another tweed case. So another one of the limited edition guitars. So once again, where the team at Fender just go a little bit nuts with the specs, they do what they feel like doing. I seem to remember this isn't a burgundy metallic, as you might think. This is like a faded something or other. Aidan will tell me in just a second.
Aged champagne metallic.
Aged champagne metallic. So not what you might think. It's got a little bit of that burgundy mist to it, as I say, but it's a little bit, maybe a little bit lighter, not quite as sparkly. So if you want a little bit more of a kind of faded vintage look to the guitar, this is great. And it's got this super popping, really quite bright, shiny maple board, but it doesn't feel bright and shiny to play. It's actually got the really nice worn-in feel on the back. Pickup-wise, do we know what we got in here?
They are the hand-wound dual mag 2 pickups.
Hand-wound dual mag 2 pickups. So once again, not year-specific, just a really great balanced set of pickups. And I played this guitar and I remember thinking this has got quite a lot of clarity to it. Some Strats have a lot of the mid-range heft. I always like the Strats that have the sparkly, the kind of Mayer type voicing. A great funk Strat this really makes for. So yeah, once again, limited edition piece, so you won't see that spec very often at all. Okay.
Thank you.
Right, now here's something totally different. And I'm quite excited to say, I don't think we've ever seen this in the shop before, certainly not while I've been here. So this still counts as part of the Fender family, obviously, and this was something that I remember seeing, once again, from this dealer event. We knew this was on the way, and I was very excited for these, because it's just something we haven't done before. We've got some Jackson Custom Shops at last. And oh yeah, it's a nice glossy white piece. Snow white, I believe, is the finish. This is new territory for Peach guitars. I mean, we've seen some of the more sort of contemporary 80s shreddy style guitars before, but very rarely do we get to see them from the legacy brands like this at this level, at this price point. These are just absolutely superb. And of all the kind of higher performance guitars I've had the pleasure of playing, these ones have the most kind of vibe to them, to me anyway, because I love this whole era of the 80s shred guitar. Dual EMG and a Floyd Rose trem, and they've got the brushed gold finish on every piece of hardware. I just absolutely love that, apart from the switch tip. But that is a super sleek looking machine. 24 frets, really nice carved neck heel, and interestingly enough, satin neck, which you wouldn't necessarily expect to see on this kind of guitar, but it makes it super comfy. It actually makes it feel a little bit more like you're playing a vintage guitar. Not a vintage guitar, but not a super hot-rodded, high-performance thing. It's got a nice blend of all worlds there. So that is a super piece. Is there any other standout bits of information that I'm missing there?
Compound radius, stainless steel frets.
Stainless steel frets. So that's something that stands out for sure, because it's not often you see that from the Fender family. But Jackson just know how to do this kind of guitar right. And with that headstock, I just think it's such an iconic look. I'm really pleased that we finally got some posh Jacksons in. So that's very, very cool. That's going to be the perfect guitar that someone out there has been dreaming of for a very long time. All right, carrying on. This isn't a Jackson, that's for sure. So let's see what the custom shop's got for us. Another master-built guitar, I believe. This is Todd Krause this time, and fairly obvious where the inspiration for this come from. The noiseless pickups. I think this colour, once again, being not what you might think, faded British racing green. Is that correct? I'm not sure that's British racing green, but it's a very cool colour nonetheless. It's got this kind of olive tint to it, and I love guitars in that particular hue. 3 noiseless single coil pickups, and it's got the Clapton typical mid-boost circuit in here. And it's a master-built Todd Krause guitar. So this is the exact type of guitar that Clapton would be playing himself. It'd be interesting to know if he ever wanted to go for any of the relic kind of, because this has got the kind of journeyman, fittingly, kind of relic level to it, a little bit of wear on the fingerboard, a little bit of wear and checking to the body. But this is a bona fide Clapton level instrument. And these things are just so comfortable. They always just have a particular tone to them. And it is just Clapton through and through. I mean, it can do a lot of different things. The TBX circuit is really versatile. And the feel is that you could just play pretty much anything on this guitar. But when I picked this up, that is what I wanted to go for. And I'm sure whoever plays this is going to get the very similar kind of vibe from it. And it's just cool to see a different colour. It's not the standard Clapton signature colours. It's not the standard custom shop colours at all. That's just a really cool piece. And being a master built guitar, not going to see very many of them. So yes, I do like that one. Okay. Thank you. All right. All right, now this is something that's very, very cool indeed. Limited edition guitar, Thinline Telly with dual P90s. I want to say Koa. Not Koa, mahogany, but you know, you can see where I'm coming from. It's got the Koa vibes to it. Super dark. Now that's not maple, is it? That looks like a Koa neck. Am I wrong again?
I'll have a look for you.
So I'm so reliant on Aidan here with the specs. I really should have maybe put a bit more time into the specs of these guitars, but I'm just giving you kind of first impressions, and based on, you know, I've played these guitars and know kind of a little bit of the character behind each of them. That's what I want to offer up. So these Thinline Tellys always have the most life out of any Telecasters to me. They kind of combine the best of all things. They've got the punch of the early 50s guitars, they've got the clarity and snap of the 60s guitars, and then being a thin line, you get all this air around the notes and the chords as well.
Roasted flame maple.
Roasted flame maple, that's super, super dark. Roasted maple, that looks like Koa to me. But there you are, roasted flame maple, same on the fingerboard. Really comfortable neck. I mean, it's a glossy kind of finish. It's nicely worn around the edges though, but it just absolutely melds to your hand. If you like a slightly chunkier neck, it's sort of midway between a 50s and a 60s style Fender neck, and I know there's lots of variants therein, but this is just kind of, if I was to spec out a neck, it'd probably be something quite like this, I think, because it's just the best balance of all things that I like out of a Telly. And being two P90s, once again, it's just totally different tonally. You get a lot of different varieties out of this. I think this might have been another out phase in the middle position. I'm not sure. The listing video will confirm that for you when you hear the tones we got out of the middle position. But it's just totally different once again. This limited edition range has really come through with some very interesting pieces. So there we go. I do apologise, folks, for my lack of prep on the specs, but all that stuff's on the website. So if you do want to know more information about a particular guitar, then thank you. Check the links in the description below, and you can find all the custom shop stuff that we've got currently on our website, and all the specs and all that stuff is there. So, right, let's see what this one's going to be. This is quite a cool one. This one kind of took me aback a little bit because I wasn't quite sure what it was at first, because it's got like the mid-60s style headstock, but it's not a mid-60s style Strat. It's just a little bit of everything. And then I remembered this is a postmodern guitar, and I haven't seen these for a little bit, a fair bit of time actually. But these are really, really nice guitars. They've got the extra sculpted neck heel up here. So this is kind of Fender combining different elements from the past with some more player-friendly contemporary features. So I think you've got a flatter radius on this guitar, slightly bigger frets than vintage spec would be. It's actually a bit of a slimmer profile as well. So it feels maybe a little bit like a sort of 65, but not quite as round, not quite as full at the back. It's quite flat, fairly modern feeling neck, but this guitar really stood out to me because it sounded basically like Ritchie Blackmore, and that's what I kind of tried to get across in the listing demo. It's just got a really unique fat tone, and I'm not sure exactly what pickups in here. Do you happen to know?
They're the dual mag 2 pickups again.
Dual mag 2s. So we saw those earlier on in the Candy Apple Red guitar maybe, or one of those other Strats. Just a really nice cover all bases kind of tone, really fat sounding guitar though, and it's really playable. So if you're not a complete vintage nut, if you want a little bit more of a modern player friendly feel out of your custom shop, this is one of the best ways to go, and I'm really pleased to see another postmodern, and it happens to look the business as well. That kind of faded vintage white with the tortoiseshell guard. Very nice. All right, I think we're nearing the end, folks. I think you can agree that it's been a fairly well-rounded, very interesting haul this time. It's not just kind of dozens and dozens of the same thing. We really try, or John certainly really tries to get as much variety out of these pieces as possible so that there is something for every player. So that makes it very interesting to play all these things because there's just so many different tones that leap out at you. Oh, what a way to come towards the end. Gold sparkle Thinline Telecaster with a matching headstock. This, another limited edition guitar. Was this part of the dealer event guitars? Yeah, so this was another one that we were lucky to secure in that recent dealer event. Just a super cool piece. I mean, that's like maximum Vegas tuxedo territory, but the tones really stand out. They're really nice. Once again, it's got that hollowness to it because of the hollow body, semi-hollow body. A little bit of extra punch, and I like when they do these uncovered telly neck pickup designs. They just seem to have a little bit more top end sort of life to them. I'd be lying if I said I remember a particular kind of profile that this guitar has tonally, but I just remember it's one of those kind of good all-rounders. A good Thinline telly, I think, does cover a lot of ground, and this one certainly looks unlike anything else from today's collection or anything else that we've seen in a while. So you might be that person that wants a sparkly gold Thinline telly, and you better get to the website very, very quickly. Quite a slim neck on that, I should have said as well. Not super fat 50s. Pardon? Oval C neck. Let's get those latches in. Thank you.
Thank you, mate.
All right, mixing it up once again. You can tell this is not another Fender. Sticking with the sparkle theme. Yeah, super cool. Jackson Custom Shop. This is the one for me because it's got the... Ordinarily, you know, not everyone likes a glossy neck on a guitar, but for this, it really just has to be that way because this is pristine, super really mega fantastic, kind of a little bit more of a modern feel, super flat neck as well, but it's got the binding to it. So I like that they haven't kind of, they haven't excluded the classic guitar enthusiasts with these guitars. They've still got the classy looking classic binding and the gloss finish, but at the same time it's DiMarzio pickups and it's a Floyd Rose with these volume and tone and just a three-way switch. So it's super simple. It's kind of got a little bit of everything. So these are like the shredders for the vintage guitar enthusiasts in a way. I think that makes sense. I certainly really like them, and once again it's just great to see examples from the custom shop. Do you happen to know which DiMarzios are in here? Guessing it's like a super distortion maybe?
Bridge and a PAF Pro DP151 in the neck.
Super distortion, PAF Pro. Bring back the DiMarzios, I think. DiMarzios is such a great sounding pickup company. They make great pickups for kind of more classic tones. That's a great example of that. Really, really nice piece. Thank you. Okay. Is this the last one?
It is indeed.
Right, last one. Well done for making it this far, folks. I think in honour of the fact that this has been a very Master Builder heavy special, if you made it this far, drop the word master down in the comments below, just to make sure you're still paying attention. Let me get this final latch. All right. You may have noticed this is a slightly bigger case than the rest, and that's because it houses a 4-string instrument from our friend Vincent Van Wright. So we've recently seen a slight focus on his 6-string electrics, which we're really pleased to start seeing some more of. And then this showed up, a really nice 4-string companion as well. 58, I want to say, 58 P bass, heavy relic obviously. I like the way Mr. Van Wright does his heavy relics because they really kind of show the best of the bodywood off without it being to the point that it looks like you just hacked away at the finish. I know some people are going to disagree. I don't really care about that today. All I want to say is this is a great looking heavy relic in this kind of chocolatey, I think it is a 3-tone. Chocolate 3-tone. Really nice. I don't know, is that a roasted neck? Doesn't look like a roasted neck, just a super dark mega piece of maple. Comes with flat wounds as well, and being a guitar player is an absolute godsend to play a bass with flat wounds. It just feels so comfortable, and it just has that really nice fat vintage tone that's really easy to play. I think of all the bass guitars that we've seen from any of the Master Builders, this has probably been my favourite because it's just so easy and comfortable to play. So that's a really nice way to end this custom shop haul. So I hope you've enjoyed this rather unique collection of guitars today. Like I say, I apologise for my lack of spec preparation and that latch not wanting to play ball, but I think it's been a pretty good selection. So if you want to find out any more information about any of these pieces, any of the other custom shop deliveries we've had, or indeed, as you may have seen, we've just been flooded with guitars. This whole warehouse is getting full to the brim. Well, not quite, but it's getting full of many, many different brands, loads of different guitars. There's just loads of stuff coming in at the moment. So if you want to find out any more information about any of the stuff we've had in recently, click the link in the description below. Head to our website, peachguitars.com. Thank you very much as always for watching. Make sure you leave a like down below and hit subscribe if you're new here and you haven't done so already. Comment down below with your thoughts. Let me know what the favourite of this bunch was for you. Take care. I'll see you next time.